Welcome back to We Still Like Each Other, the podcast. I'm Travis.
And I'm Stephanie.
And this is the podcast where we show that the honeymoon stage can last forever.
Forever and ever.
What's up, baby?
What's up? So, the funny thing about the honeymoon stage, right? We're like, it never has to end. But we have some very special guests today that are actually in the honeymoon phase. Newlyweds, Ashley and Shomari. Welcome to the show.
Shout out to the Lintons. Big
Big up Linton.
Yes. So today's a special day because it's
our 1 year anniversary
of
We Still Like Each Other.
We Still Like Each Other, the podcast, not our 1 year
Oh,
anniversary.
yeah.
You got to clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, people know us.
They're smart.
What if this is episode 1 for somebody?
That's true.
Y'all got 51 episodes to go back and catch up on.
And you starting off on a good point because it's us.
Start from the beginning.
Start from the beginning. And speaking of beginnings, today we're going to get into the beginning of Shomari and Ashley. And we're going to talk about love and newlywed love. You know, even though we've only been married 6 years, I feel like there's a perspective y'all have being newlyweds that we're going to get into today. How are y'all feeling?
Feeling good, feeling good.
A little hot. We're good though.
A
little hot.
It's natural for her.
And you're also a little hotter because you're nervous. But 5 minutes in, you'll cool down.
You'd be like,
Oh, welcome.
Probably, hopefully not too much sharing. But
Anything special happened this week for you two? We always start off by kind of just doing a quick little recap of our week. So what's your past week been like for you two?
I mean, I just recently had a job change, so that was big for me.
congratulations.
Yeah. So I studied economics. I was doing banking for a long time, and now I'm gonna be a financial advisor. So it was good to like put my last weekend, and just get it over with. I had a lot of my coworkers and my manager saying, you bring so much positivity, and it was nice to hear that from Ashley too. Like, you're positive everywhere you go, and hearing it from other people as well. So
Yeah,
it was nice to put that.
Absolutely. Like, Ashley and I are really good friends for a long time. And I always thought that that's something you brought to her in a sense, like your positive energy, your positive outlook, like definitely is a way you balance each other out.
Yeah.
So I could agree.
And since we're stroking Shamara's ego,
Oh.
I will say that whenever you're around, I'm in a better mood.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you definitely
That's
do
good.
that.
That's good. I never heard that one before.
All day we had like a candid camera following us. We just been OD giving Shomari compliments all day. Like
It's only because I'm not around as much as Ashley, so yeah. I gotta get it out. I get it.
I
I
was
get
by
it.
myself, this would not be happening.
we don't see him as often, so we're like, oh my God, come see us more. So we hyping him up.
Less compliments then. You ran out.
Stay home.
Yes. Ashley, how about you? How's your week been?
My week's been good. I started a new schedule at work, but I got to take off 3 of those days to spend time with some family, my cousins. So it was really nice. So I got to like ditch work and my new schedule. But next week will be my first full week of my new schedule. So we'll see. I'll check back in then.
One thing about Ashley is like she makes time for the people she cares about. Like
100%.
no matter where she is, like even being here is not the most convenient thing ever, but it's not just me. Like it's not special to me. Like the people she loves, her family, she makes time for them. She be rearranging schedules.
I feel like you got the calendar idea from her because she's like big on like, all right, I'm here this day, that day.
Yeah, she hits me up like 3 weeks in advance. Like, are you free this weekend? I'm coming. Like,
Yep.
She plans out her time to make sure the people in her life are loved and receive her love.
Even if it's every 2 months, every 3 months, like we got to keep in
Yeah,
touch.
she's very intentional with that. Absolutely. So when you're like, I made time for my cousins, I'm like, I bet you did.
It was my cousin's idea, so I thank her for that.
Okay.
I feel like, with cousin siblings, we are forced to spend time with each other when we're younger. And when we're older, we're like, oh, we have to work. And we don't really make time for those people. And it's a different dynamic. Like we're older, we have partners. But my cousin was like, life is overwhelming. Let's ditch life and go to grandma's like we used to do when we were little. And we all got together.
That's beautiful.
So it was nice.
Like a moment to disconnect and just
Yep.
chill.
And we surprised my grandma. She didn't know. And she's like kind of lonely since the pandemic. She's like, nobody comes to visit. So we like, she doesn't even have AC. So she was like, you sure you want to sleep here? And we were like, yeah. We were like, get
Like,
the
fuck it, I'll
fans. Like,
sweat.
it's okay.
Old
So
school.
it was cute. It was cute.
Speaking of your grandma, your grandparents have been together a really long time, right?
Yes. September makes 58 years.
58 years together.
Yes.
Have you ever looked at them like goals? Like, I want that one day.
I have. I didn't have many people growing up that were married in my life. They're one of them. And then her daughter, my aunt, is another one. They just made 30 years, my aunt and uncle. My grandparents are very traditional. My grandpa's very spoiled. So now he's having a hard time with that. But it's been cute. It's been nice to see them. Every September, they want to kill each other all the time, but but that's it.
Is there anything from their relationship or your aunt and uncle that you mentioned that you kind of draw inspiration from when it comes to your relationship?
My aunt and my uncle, they have definitely like stayed in their careers. They've made their goals come true and they've supported each other in that. My uncle worked overnights his whole life. He just started working daytime and she was always a day nurse. They have 2 kids. So just seeing that dynamic, like them making it work, she wouldn't see him for days, but like they make time to go out. He goes with her everywhere, even if he's like not having too much fun. He like makes it a priority to, make sure she's happy, filling her cup.
Do they travel a lot?
They do travel
I feel like
a lot.
I remembered that. Yeah.
They do travel a lot. They work a lot, but they've been goals. They're like kind of opposites, but they fall into place.
Yeah. I feel like recently, as of late, people have asked us. We were just recently on a podcast. Shout out to the guys next door. So that's coming out in a couple of weeks. But one of the questions was like, are there couples that we draw inspiration from? And I kind of was drawing a blank.
Yeah, I didn't have anything.
Wow.
We were talking about like maybe TV couples.
Yeah.
And that's no knock against our parents, but we're being honest, they all for the most part ended in divorce up until, my mom is remarried, but I'm an adult now. So I am looking for them, but it's not the same as when you're a kid looking at.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, you weren't raised in that dynamic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so take advantage. If you have grandparents, aunts, uncles, or people in healthy relationships, even newlyweds, there's inspiration everywhere. Somebody else asked, like, what do we get from this podcast? And it's like, it's difficult sometimes to ask for advice, or when you see people that are happy together and you might be going through something in your relationship, you're like, they can't relate. And like this show kind of gives people relationship advice without them having to directly ask anyone. So yeah, draw inspiration from wherever it is.
That's right.
I agree. I always tell him, he doesn't listen too much, but when he does, he can. When he can, he does. And I'm always like, my therapist friend Stephanie, and we still like each other. It like, y'all, no lie, like y'all make me want to have those conversations because like I'm really not a talker. So like he's helped me become more open, but those tough conversations is like what ends the honeymoon stage, any stage. So I always like, not always, but I come to him a lot lately, like bringing up different topics because y'all talk about it.
Oh my God.
So
See?
y'all
That's
do
good.
help me. Like it's easier to keep trying because this ain't easy.
Yeah.
I've always said when we first got together, for me, communication was very big. Like I'm the type person, how I always was raised, like you never go to sleep upset, like you talk to the other person about what's been bothering you, there's no point because you never know what happens, you don't know if you're not going to wake up, so I've always was about, talking about to Ashley about things that I had a problem. And at first it was bumpy, it's always about, I'm uncomfortable or acting like it didn't happen, so, but
And Ashley's my friend, so I know you did some stonewalling and just like trying to just stay quiet instead of facing the
Right.
conversation.
Yeah.
I
Big
bet.
difference now, big difference.
Baby, how was your week?
My week was great. My good friend Janiris was here all week, and it was just a good time. It was like a piece of home, and also someone who like helps me clean and take care of the baby. So it was like having a support system here all week, which is awesome. And then we had a weekend trip to look forward to. So we just got back from like the Hudson Valley area. We were with our friends, the Polancos. They were on our show.
Yeah, shout out to Leo, Brittany,
Yes.
Luca.
And Luca. So I had a pretty good week. How about you?
Yeah, same. We had a similar week. I think a highlight was between the Polancos and also the guys next door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that came as a surprise.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to tell the full story yet, but yeah, you know, shout out to Mouse, shout out to Mac, Fly Rye for extending the invite. That was probably, it's still surreal.
Yeah. Like, who are we getting invited to other podcasts?
Yeah, especially on that level.
That shit.
Y'all dope.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you feeling good?
Yeah, cloud nine.
All right. So do you have a did you know for us, babe?
I do. I picked this because of our guest. Did you know? Did you know couples who spend more than 5 hours a week together compared to average couples have the most successful marriages?
5 hours?
I was gonna say
We spend way more than 5 hours together.
But there are couples out there who that's a reach.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
like-
We definitely do too.
That's like 2 shows right there. Like you seen that? Like you seen
Not
this?
30-minute ones.
So what do you think about that?
5 hours, what? I was stuck on the 5 hours part.
They spend at least 5 hours together, have a more successful marriage than
Oh,
average.
yeah. Quality time is one of the love languages. I absolutely can see that.
But then you kind of think about it like, how is that 5 hours spent? I wonder if that comes into effect.
100%.
Because you mentioned the TV show.
Yo,
Is that the same as people who are more intentional as far as like, oh, we're talking during those 5 hours?
we're
or
on our phone.
Exactly.
Yo, for real, I agree.
We try to go to the gym.
I was gonna say that's a
Yeah, at first I really didn't like working out with him, but you know, as time goes on, I figure he kind of got me into working out. So if I can't enjoy that with him, like, not that you need to enjoy everything with your partner, but I'm like, okay, let's like 3 times a week work out together so we could spend some time together.
on average. At
And then
least,
2 days a week we work out alone because he does kind of drive me crazy. But just because
I was
he's
going to ask you in the
he's pushing
beginning,
me.
what was it? What do you feel? Why was it that you didn't like working out with him?
He knew more than me. He was very, I don't like the way people talk to me. I'm very sensitive. My parents used to like yell at me a lot and I would just cry and they would be like, why are you crying? And I'm just like, so he, you know, he seems very like, you're doing it, you should do it like this. And I know it's good feedback, but I'm just like, I'm not trying to hear you right now. I'm trying to do it how I want.
Yeah.
Even if it's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
she hit it on the nail right there. Like I would show her something and it would be fine, you know. And I'm a supportive person because I like teaching people things, and then she would just answer back in the most different way, like, oh, you know what, you should have said this beforehand, you saw me already do it twice, why don't you say something then? But I just noticed. So it's like, damn, I didn't really notice you were doing it a different type of way.
So the communication was off.
Yeah, well, it was there, but also because it was something new for her as well, she feels uncomfortable, so then she kind of lashes out and like, oh yeah, like I want to do it my way. But now it's a lot better, and we were talking about spending quality time with each other. It's one of the times I look forward to, you know, being, you know, healthy and being in the gym is great, but then also doing it with your partner is even more fun. And then after we're done, we feel so accomplished. A lot of the time she posts videos or pictures when we get to the gym, so we're like super hyped getting into it, and then by the end we're just like, yeah, we did that, you know. So it's always good.
Fitness goals. If y'all listen, y'all know I've been trying to get Travis on the fitness wave with me. And coincidentally, he recently asked me, like, you know, what if we try like eating healthy, eating clean? And we had that conversation. So I'm glad y'all here. We're going to pick your brains a little bit more after this.
Let's do it.
slowly but surely.
So besides working out together, are there other ways that you prioritize quality time together?
Definitely in the kitchen, we try to meal prep together for the most part. At least like I make something and then Ashley makes the other part, and then like we bring it together, you know, that type of thing. And also obviously date nights. So at first when we first started dating, we would always go on Thursdays, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little kind of way about that.
But you know, I was going to say it's interesting because I don't know you without child. So I don't know what our dynamic would have been just 2 people without a child, how we would function. So, you know, that must be kind of cool that you have that time where it's just you only worry about each other.
Right.
That's a good point, because my sister said to me, like, because she has many kids. We don't got to get into it, but point is, she was like, you know, what's so nice, you and Ashley, y'all single, you know, not single, but it's only you 2. And having to be able to, for example, they went to the park one day and we all came, you know, you got to bring all the kids, you got to bring the food, and she always preparing food. So you got to bring all that food. Then you're late because of everything you had to bring. It's just nice that me and Ashley, we just go out and just like not have to worry about anything besides our phone, wallet, keys, No,
definitely. But I feel like you all have a good system because even though it's just the two of you, Ashley prioritizes her friends, her family, gym. Like there are certain things y'all are both individually prioritize yourselves. So I feel like when you decide, or if you ever decide to add on children, it's gonna be a smooth transition. I feel
that's a big reason of like why I started working out, and why we try to make time for each other now, because I know it's gonna be difficult. We don't really have much help near us. I mean, that might change later, but yeah, just I want to be okay for me. I want to be okay for him. I want to be okay for my future kid.
You feel like you're building the foundation now?
Yeah, like we don't see that, like we see a lot of, like I'm terrified of postpartum. I'm terrified of giving birth, but I can't control that. That's something I'm like working on. So little things that I can control, working out, really like taking care of me before I take care of someone else in the morning. So that's like my perspective. I know days are going to be hard. Things are different, but at least like I have that for me.
Yeah.
I agree with that, because for me as well, like waking up early and doing all this was the first thing I thought about. Was like, wow, when the child needs to sleep, wakes up and needs to go back to sleep, I want to be there for her and for the child, with no problem. And I feel like it's kind of like preparing us in that mode of, not like we're not getting no sleep, but, being up early when we really need to,
Yeah.
I will say though, just knowing y'all, when it happens, if y'all decide to have children, Ashley's like work ethic, you're going to be a great mom. Like she don't play. Like when it comes to her responsibilities, even back in college when we was getting lit, staying out late, she did not fumble any of her responsibilities ever. And that was something I really looked up to. Like for sure. Like she didn't play. She was like, I had all my fun. I still got class. I still got this paper. I still got this test. Like she never put her work, like she never let it slip. So y'all gonna rock it when y'all decide to do it.
That's a fact. And she keeps me accountable too. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna call you for help.
That's what I love about her. Like in this relationship, she sharpens me up. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm sharp, but she makes me sharper. That's how it should be in a relationship.
Absolutely. Definitely. So speaking of, I keep bringing up like how I known you. So I want to know y'all origin story. How did Ashley and Shomari come to be? So who tells the better version of how y'all met?
Well, who tells the truth?
I'm gonna let Ashley say.
He tells the truth. I give you a cute summary.
We like to do this thing where Ashley inputs while I talk.
Okay.
Oh,
are we giving the whole story? I'm doing a summary because we don't have all day.
Y'all been doing a podcast since y'all met.
Yo,
listen,
for real.
That's perfect. So summary,
yeah,
Shomari.
Yes.
But Ashley, you're gonna add the little details that you forget.
Got you.
Okay. So how it started, obviously me and Ashley and I, we went to the same school, New Paltz University, and for me, I saw Ashley on social media. She was a mutual friend of a lot of other friends that we had. So, one day I just saw her in mutual friends, and I was like, "Oh, this girl's cute." Yeah. Like she had the low rise pants. She had the
Are those belly, still in? Are those still in?
She had the belly button ring. Not that those are like for me, but like I was like, "Yo, this girl's cute."
I have the picture in my head. I know exactly.
It was the curly hair, the blonde streak. I was like, "Yo, this girl's cute." I was showing my roommates. I was like, "Yo, she's cute." They're like, "Yeah, I've seen her around.
Summary.
Oh yeah, summary. So yeah. Anyway, point is that I was already checking her out, and then we had a program on campus called MV Fashion. That's where I met Stephanie. She at the time was on the e-board, and then next year she was going to be president actually. Mm-hmm. So I ended up being in the fashion show, and at the end, Stephanie was like, "Yo, you want to be in the show?" And I was like, you want to be a model coordinator? I was like, "Yeah, definitely." And then in between that time, I finally got to chill with Ashley because she was going to be the secretary.
So if you're watching this, Shomari is always well dressed, put together. He's like a cute boy. I was gonna say pretty boy, but there's like a negative connotation with pretty boy. You're not a pretty boy.
Like a fuck boy.
Exactly.
That was his nickname. His first nickname was fuck boy.
He also was a really good model. So when I became the president of MV Fashions, you were the model coordinator.
That's right. Right. So we got inputs from other people too.
My bad.
Nah, I'm joking. So anyways, yeah, so we were on St. Boy. We would do a lot of things together, like make food for events, just plan certain things. And Ashley would obviously send out the e-board minutes that I would never read, so she would come at me, put me up to date.
Ashley, you were the secretary.
Yes, I was a secretary subtly flirting through my meeting notes every week, and I would only like write something to him at the bottom, and he never read it. I don't even think you noticed.
No, I was gonna say I didn't know that.
And I didn't see that flirting. I thought she was coming at me because I wasn't reading it.
Because I was a fuck girl.
But yeah, she's right. She did only mention me in there. So basically,
that's mad cute.
The show went well. Obviously, it was a great show. And then after that, Ashley and I, we still ended up talking. But the cool thing is that in between that time period, which we didn't know, and I don't know how I didn't know because I was going through her social media, we had the same birthday. So it was my birthday first year on campus, and then she messaged me that same night like, "Oh, happy birthday!" I didn't notice. And then the next day, she's like, "You didn't notice my post," and I was like, "Post, happy birthday." We had the same birthday. That's what she posted, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, me and this girl got the same birthday. This is crazy."
The bag a couple of times.
He thought I was cute, but he didn't even know my birthday.
I honestly didn't think she was into me. You know what I'm saying? But I thought she was cute. But you know, there's a lot going
syndrome.
On. Plus, it's also first year in college, so there's a lot going on. So I wasn't paying attention to those signals. But point is that we had the same birthday, so we had a lot of similarities, and we chilled a lot after envied. So then one year, Ashley studied abroad. And when she studied abroad, we were talking a lot through
Facebook at the time.
What was it? It was
MySpace.
Uvu.
So
it was Uvu.
So before I studied abroad, Shomari told me he liked me in the dining hall at Hasbrook, and I was like, "What? Oh, what? You really? Okay," which I already knew, but I was dealing with some fuckboys that I wasn't ready yet to give my shit to him because he didn't deserve that type of treatment. He was different. He had like a messenger bag and all cute and like,
that's what set me apart.
Us girls, we like that like, that macho shit, that weird shit that you gotta like beg for.
Yeah. At the time.
So I was like, not yet in my head. And he's like, well, we can't hang out no more.
Legit.
And I was like, what do you mean? I kept popping up at his room.
Literally.
Kept popping up to hang out. And he looking at me like, this girl doesn't get the hint. So we stayed friends. And then I studied abroad.
Yes.
And we used to talk through Uvu.
That's right.
We were like, we ain't gonna be chilling and there's nothing
for real. I was like,
happening.
Listen, I have hard feelings, and if we keep chilling, it's gonna get even worse. So we cannot hang out anymore. And
if you ain't with the shit,
for real.
Were you being serious, or was that kind of like?
Nah, I was so serious. I was over at this point because it was already 2 years that we were like friends, like. And when I say we used to hang out, that 5 hour thing you talking about, it was more than that. Like Ashley. After classes, I would even go to her classes sometimes, take a picture of her, send it to her, like cute stuff. Like it was like a lot, like which is I love to do. But then I was like, you know what, I'm doing way too much.
And y'all never made it official.
We never did anything. We never made it official or nothing. So,
but, if you don't mind me asking, between those 2 years, had y'all had any type of interaction, a kiss or any type of relation?
Shomari surprise kissed me 3 times without my permission, no consent.
Oh my God! Cancel him.
This is why I didn't want to bring up
at the bar, getting into a taxi, and I don't remember the third, but
it wasn't like sloppy or just. It was like
and y'all were also spending so much time together.
Yeah, and also some of them were after like certain dates, friend dates. It was like, oh yeah, we went to go see a movie. Oh, I dropped her off at the car. I was like, hey, we had a good time.
Shomari was my Valentine for like 3
we were
years
Valentines.
We were
Valentines. Like we went out to eat. Like
it sounds like to me like you're like the friend zone story, like a success story.
It's literally a success story. It's kind of sad, but it's
no,
legit.
But
it's good. It's nice.
I've explained to him that like I was always attracted to him. It was just I wasn't ready to like be serious yet. Like I was on my fuck girl shit.
You weren't ready to let go of the fuck girl shit.
Exactly. And I was like, is this real? Like he was just so nice and everything was so different, so new. I was like, once he gets into my pants, like it's gonna change. So I was kind of testing him, and he passed the test every time. He would be like, do you want to sleep over? Like you could sleep on the couch. We don't gotta sleep in the same bed.
She was like, no, I love my bed. I was like, okay.
I only love my mama in my bed. I'm sorry. He would be like, do you want lasagna? Like I cook. I'm like, men cook? Like I was like, sorry, I don't eat cheese, but you can make a lasagna for my friends.
Yeah, so after like all the good treatment, all that, I was at the point where I was fed up. I was like, you know what, this is just not okay.
And she had already gone abroad and come back?
Nah, this was like maybe a year before she.
It was the summer before I left.
Okay, summer before she left. And in between that the semester time, like there would be times where I'll be chilling with other people and then Ashley would pull up out of nowhere, and I'm like,
are you talking about someone you'd be interested in?
Not really, but another woman, another girl,
somebody entertaining.
In my suite, it's just us two, and then she would pull up, like, and I open the door, I'm like, what's up? Like, what do you need?
Jago mama.
Yeah, like, it's so funny.
It had you a little shook though, Ashley, right? Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Which was surprising to me because I was so annoyed. I'm like, you don't want to be with me, but you over here showing up everywhere I'm at, like, come on, like, what is this? It's legit, like, hard. So yeah. So then fast forward to what I was saying before. She studies abroad. We were talking a lot through Uvu, and I don't know what happened with Uvu, but the first few video chats, we had sound, we had video, everything. For some reason, we lost sound, like, the second or third day she was over there. So we would be on there texting on the Uvu chat
while looking
at each other. It was like a lot of tension, like sexual tension, a lot of like builds up, a lot of like earnest, like it was there.
So was she mouthing things like?
Yo, tell them. I never even know what she's about to say right now.
Yeah. So I kind of went to Ecuador saying that he was my boyfriend already when he wasn't, because when I got back, I just knew things were gonna, just fall into place.
She's a hustler.
So I got over there. My host family's like, "Tienes novio? Like, you had a boyfriend?" I'm like, "Yeah, his name's Shomari." And then so it was like 98 degrees every day in Ecuador. I would wear bandos on video, like on purpose, and he'd be like, "Where's your shirt?" And I'm like, "I don't have one."
And I'm just like, like, wow, like, what's
He's
going on?
He's like, "Wow, I waited 2 years just to see like this." Like,
and you didn't know she was already claiming you as her man.
I did not know. I thought, I didn't know. At the time, I'm not gonna lie to you, when she was dressed like that, I was like, damn, that means all the guys be seeing her like this. I'm so jealous. Like, but at least I see her like this right now. Like, it was nice. The chats, we would talk for hours, like hours on there. Like, I would give her updates on what was going on in school. Like, oh yeah, like, when you get back, we could do this, do that, that type of thing. In the back of my mind though, to be real, I was like, you know what? I'm also still giving her way too much time. But I couldn't help myself. Like, she would hit me up on chat and I'd be like, yo, I want to chat. Like,
yeah,
right
you
now.
would drop everything.
Yeah, I would drop everything. So it was great. And then when she came back from Ecuador, my boy from the city, we went to the same school together. My best friend.
First day back, I went and got my eyebrows done, my hair straightened, and I was like, "Hey, what you doing?" I went to brunch. I got a little too lit. And then he came to pick me up with his friend. Exactly. I made him wait downstairs for like an hour because I fell asleep.
We were in the car for mad long, and my boy's like, "Yo, what's up with this girl?" I'm like, "I don't know." I call her. She's like, "Oh, I fell asleep."
But then we shared our first kiss.
Yeah, that night
like
we went to my parents' house.
A kiss with consent.
My whole family was there.
I met everyone on day one.
My whole family was
Everybody.
there. Not like cousins and stuff, but I come from a family of 7.
Family.
Yeah, I'm number 5 of 7. So literally everybody was at home, and we do movie nights, you know what I'm saying? So they was watching Fruitvale Station. And while we was watching, that was probably the most depressing movie for us to be watching.
I had already seen it, but I love Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, so we were watching it, and out of nowhere, everybody started dropping like flies. People were falling asleep. People were going to bed. So the movie finished, and then everybody left. Everybody loved Ashley, by the way. My mom was talking the whole time. Not during the movie, but actually some, because you know how Jamaicans are. They just terrible with the movie watching.
If your sisters are watching, I was definitely drunk.
Yeah.
Nobody knew, though.
Nobody knew that she was like from the other night.
I was like, "You got water?" I was like, "Nice to meet y'all. Y'all got water?"
And I heard they all said good things after they left. But anyways, point is that everybody was dropping like flies. Even my boy, he fell asleep on the floor. So we were sitting there on the couch. We were just talking, and then I know we ended up getting closer. And then this time I moved in for the kiss, and then she moved in as well. She was giving me a lot of signals, like with her hands on, like more than usual. She was more touchy. I don't know if it was a liquor.
She was a little drunk.
Exactly.
I was ready.
It was probably that, But honestly, I've no offense to all the other girls I've spoken to, but yo, that first kiss, no lie. Like sometimes when they say when you know, Mm-hmm. When I kissed Ashley for the first time like that, butterflies, everything, just like it was just so. I can't explain
Full
it.
offense to all them other bitches.
I'm glad you said it, but it's just, there's no comparison. It was just like, it was the right time. It was the right moment. All those moments when it didn't happen, I didn't mind it. Like, it was just perfect. And the night ended well. Nothing really happened besides more intense kissing and a lot more in the kitchen and on the couch. And then, that was it basically. And then,
that was December 2013. We didn't make it official till the next year.
Yeah. So this is December 2013, and y'all just got married December of 2021. Yeah, that's a long journey.
It is. And you know what, Mina, Ashley and I, we were always talking about, we don't got to get married ASAP. And even when we made it official, like boyfriend and girlfriend, I had already had in my mind, but it's really my fault. Like, I never said, I want you to be my girl. Like, I already thought, like, okay, we've been together for 2 years. We always hang out with each other, like,
y'all know that's what makes it special.
You know, and
like,
for her, I never, but yeah, she was right. Anyways, made it official. And then after that, everything was really easy. We moved in together. We had multiple apartments together. We had multiple places together. Same thing we were always doing before. Watching movies, going out to eat, chilling with friends. It was just the same thing.
And
but
y'all
like,
been living, when did y'all first move in together?
It was that summer, no?
So we first kissed like December 2013. We moved in together May 2014.
Okay, so
a couple months later.
Why marriage then? If y'all had a solid relationship, y'all lived together, built a life together, like everyone already knows y'all as a unit.
Why would you ruin a good thing?
Ask Shomari.
No, why marriage? Like, when did y'all decide marriage was the goal?
Quoting my mom. Nah, let me not quote my mom. My mom was like, "Y'all living in sin."
But backtrack.
Yeah, I'm gonna backtrack.
Not you.
Oh, go
ahead. Because you wanted to get married.
I did. We almost had a big breakup on the conversation.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What year was this? Like how deep in?
We was living at this apartment now. So
no lie, like 3 months before he proposed. Yeah. Not even kidding. Like, I had no idea because we had that fight. So I was like, he definitely don't want to get married.
And she left the apartment. She slammed the door, left the door open. I went to Target.
I stayed in the parking lot for like an hour.
Who started this conversation?
The conversation was me. I was like, I want to get, what about getting married, having kids? She was like, I can't remember quote for quote, but summary, don't really want to have kids. It's really big responsibility. Don't really want to get married. There's no need for that, blah, blah. And I was like, then what are we doing here? Like, what's the point? Like, I love you. And, I just want to make it official like we did when we started talking, like you, my wife, and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't have to happen now, but just talking about it, she got really upset about, kind of like make it seem like I was kind of controlling the situation and,
he's not abusive.
Her life and stuff like that. So she just stormed out and just like left the apartment. And I don't know what's wrong with me, but at that moment I was like, you know what? I'd still want to marry this girl. Like, I legit wanted to marry her.
I was just about to ask, when you saw her reaction to what you brought up, did something come across your mind like, yo, this might not be my forever person?
Yo, for real? I don't know why. I was upset, but I was still like, yeah, I want to marry her.
Like, this is,
I was just
it's something we have to work through.
Yeah, that's too. I was just thinking like, not that I'm going to change her mind, but I get her fears. We agreed on a lot of key points and I understood. Having a kid is a big responsibility. I already knew that. I come from a family of a lot of children. I knew that. I already know that. Being financially stable. I already know that that's a big part of her life. It's a big part of my life as well. So we were agreeing on a lot of things, but she was making fear overcome her situation for our like us getting married and stuff like that, which is fine. It's a scary thing, making a big change, and everybody has different relationships and different experiences in these relationships. So I don't know what she's been through at that time. Well, I did mostly, but I don't know what made her. I don't know her situation. My point is, so then who am I to judge and just be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna end this because of how she feels.
You didn't want fear to stand in the way,
exactly,
of building a life together.
Yes, and I wanted to make her comfortable for that. So I was like, you know what? I'm still gonna propose in Jamaica. And
when you had that conversation, were you already planning on proposing in Jamaica?
Actually, that's what I brought up. Good point, Travis, because I actually did say to her. Remember, I was like, oh yeah, I was thinking about proposing in Jamaica, like as a ha. Remember?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? Because I remember. It did happen. I said that to her at one point as a joke, but then I was like, I'm definitely proposing Jamaica. And then we spoke Jamaica.
It's like ending a text in LOL.
I like I mentioned before, my parents are not married. My parents split when I was 4. My dad remarried a year later and he's still with his wife. There was nobody really else.
And your parents have the same birthday?
So Shomari and I have the same birthday. I'm a year older. My parents also have the same birthday.
Which is crazy.
My dad is 6 years older than my mom.
So you're kind of like seeing parallels, like, or trying to avoid some.
Yeah, it was very scary. Like, my mom raised me to be very, what you have down there is gold. You don't give it to everybody. So I was very just like
territorial
with everyone. Like no,
walls up.
Yeah, and it wasn't something I was familiar with. I told him, I was like, we could coexist forever. Like, why do we have to get married? Like,
did you feel like that was giving away some of your independence?
Yeah. That's one thing about me. If you know me, we just had this conversation the other day. I like to go on trips by myself. I love him and I love being married. I love being in a relationship, but I love feeling like I don't have any responsibility. I like leaving for 2-3 days, and so that was a big thing. And I told them from jump, like, I want to make this work, but I want us to know, like, where we stand. Like, I have my friends. I'm very big on, like, I have a lot of FOMO. I've kind of gotten over it, but I used to be like, I have to go everywhere with my friends or my family. Like, and he's like, doesn't even.
Yeah.
But, and just hearing him say, like, I want you to be my wife. Like, my parents are married. It's a different type of commitment. But I was still my debt. I don't want your debt. Mind you, I have more debt than him. I don't want your debt. I don't want all that drama. And he's like, you have more debt than me. Like, you make no sense.
Yeah, for me, my parents have been married almost 40 years now. Shout out to my parents.
That's beautiful.
I felt like I just have a lot of flashbacks to my parents dancing in the kitchen, to, Caribbean music, them just joking around, having those little arguments. I love that dynamic, that back and forth, but then I still love you, wow. But yeah, it was just, that's what I wanted in my life. And I always said that, I was like, I really want a girl who understands me. I really want a girl who I feel like we understand each other. And when I met Ashley, when we had the same birthday, I was like, wow, like
it was like a
birthday.
sign.
It was like a sign a little bit.
Numbers.
Yeah. So
two.
Right.
I always have someone to celebrate my birthday with.
There was a lot of signals, and I kind of wanted to, tighten it up and make it known that, you're the woman for me, and that's how I wanna start our journey like that, So I understand all those fears. So it was fine that it was a rebuttal at first, but when I proposed that day in Jamaica, even though she had a crazy allergic reaction on the plane and she was tired.
I almost said no.
It was right by the sunset. I was like, listen, our birthday is tomorrow. I am not going to mess up our birthday by proposing on that day. I'm going to do it the day before. So pulled out that ring, got on one knee, had another guy take a picture / take a video now. He took it and I got down, and then I was there for a minute because I was like, babe, will you marry me? And she said, yeah. So it was good.
I was so excited.
Yeah, I was going to ask, have you explored the idea of marriage before that conversation where she walked out?
Actually, no. At that first time, yeah. We've had conversations about marriage and like what she thought.
Well, I'm talking about where you were seriously considering it.
Like with another person?
No, with each other. But because I know, like, for example, for Steph and I was like, all right, well, we did this. What's next? We want to get married. So did you said the kiss felt like something you've never felt before, where you're like, oh, this is the one. I need to lock this down quick. Yeah.
I did think after like a couple years into the relationship, after we became official, that at first I was like, maybe this is just going to be like a thing for a little while. Like maybe she just wants to, see how it is, and then things like that. But then, we would rarely have arguments, like the arguments we would get into, they're so small. And it's like, damn, like this person we get along so well. And the little things that we do go through, we are able to pass through it, And I'm like, man, am I going to be able to find that with somebody else so easily? Is it going to be so simple with somebody else? Like, so like, is it going to come so natural, So hell yeah, I was like, this is the one for me, I would have to say maybe like 2 years into the relationship, I was like, I definitely want to marry Ashley, and I discussed it with her family, like, oh yeah, I want to marry your daughter. I want to marry your niece, and they were like, oh my gosh, blah, blah. That was another thing. Her family were very excited, accepting to me, They brought me in like I was family. Her mom, the first time she met me, her aunt, like everybody, they were just so inviting. My family, they vibed well with her. That was a big indicator for me too, because you know, in the past I've had other girls, and then my parents like, who's this girl you bring around? Like, you know, like they do really well with Ashley. So there was a lot of signals in there where I was like, you know what, when else am I gonna have this chance? When am and I can't let it slip through.
So Ashley, I heard you say low, like, who wants to marry me? So I in knowing you, I feel like you probably sometimes maybe felt undeserving, as if like, I don't know, he might love me now, but he's not gonna love me forever. Have you gotten over that 100%? And if not, how have you like been working through that and learning how to accept love?
The minute he proposed, I was like, oh, okay. Like he's really okay with seeing me every morning in my bonnet. Like,
Speaking like of that, I got a funny picture for y'all.
That is a scary sight. But when I said yes, no lie, I would say like people got like one divorce under their belt was one. If it doesn't work out, it's kind of like insecure me saying if it doesn't work out.
So you
like having a backup plan.
Yes.
So I still no lie, like I'll be looking at him like, are you real? Like pinch. Like, cause I don't know. You don't come across this beauty every day. Like
the funny thing is I have those same thoughts.
I'm not done.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm like, why would he be wasting his time if it wasn't real? And just enjoying the moment. Like, I used to have this mindset of like nothing lasts forever, but I'm trying to kind of get away from that. So just living in the moment, experiencing it, soaking it up, doing what I can, and flowering it, watering it the most that I can, just to. But those thoughts still creep in.
Do you worry because your parents divorced when you were so young, you don't have the tools to water it properly?
No. I feel like I say it a lot, like not making excuses for our parents, but now we have so many tools that there aren't any excuses. So that's why like you have to have those hard conversations. You have to ask for a help. You kind of just gotta keep it real. Like, not that I was negative when we started dating, but I'm just a realist. People would always tell me like, you're so negative. I'm like, nah, just keep it real.
Earlier when he mentioned being positive, I'm like, oh,
but I did need that. I did need that. I was very like hardcore, like just dark. Maybe I'm still like that now, just a little bit. But.
And what you brought up about the parents is a point that I've probably made before, but I'll make it again. Looking back at our history is good to kind of see like why we might have some maladaptive qualities or behaviors, right? So we could look to our past to be like, oh, that makes sense. Why I felt this way, why I behaved this way. But it's just a way to look at the future to give ourselves grace, but we don't have to be stuck in that, right? So we can't say, well, I never saw a positive outlook on marriage, so our marriage is going to fail. No, we might not be good at it at first because of that, but we can always get better. Like we have to take our experiences and not feel like it's our forever. We still can change, we still can grow, we still can learn. Like you said, we have a lot more tools now.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Something that comes up is I always say it's a choice every day. So I think about that. I think of my mom. My mom is like, she's super cool, you know, but I feel like her and my dad didn't work because one of them, I don't know who, maybe it was both. It just, the work wasn't there. Like, you know, you don't want to put in the work. So when I said yes, it was like, oh, I really got to be cautious of what I'm going to be saying, what I'm going to be doing, because I don't want it to result in that. And I forgot my point, but it's a choice every day. That was my point. Yeah. So it sounds kind of weird, but it's a choice. It's a conscious choice every day to keep trying to understand each other, to keep coming from a place of love.
I love that. Like, a lot of people ask, why get married? It's a piece of paper. And you kind of just put into words my feeling with marriage. Like now you're like, I'm going to make it work and I'm going to work hard. It's a conscious decision that we're going to keep going. There was a video, like a TikTok, this Instagram comedian, and she talks about anytime there's a slight inconvenience with my boyfriend, she's like, we should break up. I think we should go on a break. We should break up. But in a marriage, you don't do that. You don't run away from each other. You kind of just put in the work every single day.
I will say that there are some situations that we've been through that if we hadn't been married, I don't think we would have made it out of.
Mm-hmm.
And,
absolutely. It would have been easier to run away.
Take that as you will, but there's something powerful there as you deciding to spend your life with someone, giving someone your last name, even if it's something like Whiteman. But like you've always brought up, you take that to a certain extent, right? Because you're not just going to be married for the sake of being married,
But we're also not going to get divorced without putting in the work first. Mm-hmm. So we know the work is going to come first. Now, if the work ain't working, we got a long life to live and shit happens,
I do want to say, we were together for 8 years before we actually got married. 7 years before we got married. If Ashley didn't want to get married, she could have said, I don't want to get married. But she didn't. And that's more of a solidification to show that this is something that she wanted to do and that we were willing to work for. And, like when you work really hard at something, it's good to see it pay off. And I felt like over those years, the things that we did do, it paid off for that moment, to get married. And like she was saying before, the thoughts that she feels, I love that when she shares those things because she thinks she's alone in those situations, but she's not. I feel those ways as well. Like when I wake up, I look at myself, I'm like, damn, she's beautiful.
You look so cute when you sleep.
She says that, but she showed me the picture. I'm like, ew, what is this? You taking pictures? Don't show us to nobody.
Just like Stephanie.
I be looking crazy.
I was taking pictures of her and River the other day, looking so sweet, and the first thing she goes like, ugh. Like I'm like, come on, I'm over here in love. Like, look at our baby, my wife, and she's just.
Yeah, like we both thinking the same thing. We both think that there are inadequates in each of us, but we see the beautifulness in each of us. The fact that we can provide something to the table that makes each of us want to be in the relationship even more. And that's the beautiful part of it.
Yeah, I have a question. So, in our relationship, and sometimes there are problems that come up, and we fix them. Sometimes there's those problems that just are gonna keep coming up, and you kind of like, you know what? That's who they are, and I'm going to deal with it. So could you think of one thing that you have noticed your partner has changed? And what's one thing that you're like, this is just who they are, and I'm going to love them through it?
You want your notebook?
It's a loaded question. Oh, look at that. Nah, be real.
Yeah, no, you can say it's good.
I was going to say you should mention social media because I'm not changing.
I feel like I love that you don't use social media. I usually date people that don't really like social media. I use social media. I'm a social media head. I've been using social media since I was like 11.
So have I, but I'm just not like...
Shomari posts never. He has Instagram because he has group chats with his anime friends. So then I can send them stuff too. And then to look at my shit when I'm not home. But I like that about you. I'm not hiding anything. I don't really care if you ask for my phone.
So wait, why do you bring that up? Because you think
because that's one thing that I haven't changed. For her to say that's one thing that she could say that I haven't changed. I feel like I've slightly. No, I haven't.
Did it ever feel like did it ever bother you though that he was like that?
No. If anything, in the beginning, I was happy because he wasn't looking at my shit. We wasn't official. But no, don't get mad. But your tardiness. Like, we are the late Lintons.
We're not.
Literally. We're working on it.
You think it stems from him?
Well, I tell you, Ashley don't play.
So it stems on, how do you say, your digestive system?
Oh.
Shomari.
I have a healthy digestive system.
He does. Too healthy at the wrong times. But we're working on it. I just keep telling him, think of when we have a baby. We're never going to get out the house on time. We can't even get out the house on time without a baby. Imagine us with one.
Yeah.
I do feel, and I still feel this way, so I guess it is something that we're still working on, that we're never as late as Ashley thinks we're going to be late. She's always like really pushing it above and beyond. You know what I mean? So like we'll go to the gym and it's like, okay, yeah, you want to be up at 5 a.m., but when do you want to be at the gym?
At 5:30.
At 5:30. Okay, so we're out by like 5. We're at the gym at 5:45, and then she's all upset, like, oh, because we're here 15 minutes late. Like, so she's like, then she'd say to me, well, I want to get back home early so I can read my book and stuff like that, which is important for her.
You have your routines.
Yeah. So I'm trying to work on understanding that aspect of it. Because yeah, even though there is time, there's more time that she wants to dedicate for herself to do her own thing as well. And like I said in the beginning, waking up early and doing certain things with the kids is important for our child, not kids. So doing that is important. So I am working on it, and I feel like us going to the gym in the morning and doing certain things like that, it does help. I do need to work on going to sleep. You know, I do go to sleep early, like together. But you know, sleeping more matching our time, because if I go to sleep later, then I can't wake up as early with her. You know what I'm saying? So ironically, I mean, well, what we do now is at 11 o'clock, she's turning the TV off on. And then sometimes what would I do? Before I used to stay up. Now I just turn the TV off too. And then you'll say to me, you'll be like, you really gonna turn the TV off? I'm working on it. You know what I'm saying? That's my method of working on it. If I stay up and watch.
Since you called me the therapist, take those little problems and not spiral it into when we have kids. Because that's so big. And that could cause a lot of like anxiety and stress, because you're like, I'm gonna fuck my children up. My children that don't exist yet.
Not even. I'm gonna be a helicopter mother because we're two babies.
Yeah. It's like bringing ourselves back. Like, yes, the tardiness is a problem. He's more on time than me. And I feel like I've been working on it too. But we can't make it a bigger problem than it actually is. You know, my little therapist.
Not yet.
How long have you all been married?
I won't bail y'all.
A year and...
No, like 7 months.
Oh yeah, that's right. What am I saying?
He's like, how long has it felt?
What's your thing about me that you feel like I've changed, if there's anything?
Ashley has been a lot better at not being on her phone. Yo, for real, that was a big problem for me when we first got together. She would be on her phone,
like not in the
when
moment.
we're doing something, not in the moment, like not present at all. And I would say something to her, and it's funny, even early when she mentioned, oh, he doesn't listen a lot. I wanted to kind of be like, I do listen. I'm an active listener, you know what I'm saying? But there's certain things that she'll say to me, like, for example, oh, I'm going to the city to visit Steph. I'll forget about that because I have a lot going on in the moment, and that's why she started the calendar thing, which is great. I love that she does, because I'll forget all her plans.
We just copied that. We just started adding calendar things.
There's so many plans. It's like, goddamn, like you just went here, now you... So I forget. So it's not that I'm not listening. It's just I'm an active listener to certain things that stay in my mind. But point is that certain things I have no problem with opening it. But the point I'm trying to make is damn, what was my point?
You were talking about her phone usage.
Oh yes, the phone usage and being present. Like at first, Ashley we'd be watching the show and she'd just be on her phone. And then what I would do, I would look over and be like, I would literally get upset. Like, yo, we're in the moment and you're spending time with me. We can't even talk about what's happening in the show because you're too busy doing
you didn't
God
even watch
knows
the
what
show.
on your phone. Like, who cares about social media? Who cares about that post? Like, you can literally put the phone down, go back, and they'll be there. She's like, oh, but I didn't see my timeline. I'm like, who cares? Like, I don't care. They don't care. Like, nobody cares.
Sometimes I feel like a kid, like when you're not trying to show an adult something, like, no, look at this part. Look. And I'm like watching Stephanie, like all scared, like, don't you touch that phone. Don't you touch that phone.
So I started having flashbacks to when I was younger. Me and my sister and I, hopefully I don't go too long with this, we would always get into arguments, right? I was the youngest boy at the time, and my older sister, she would always like come at me, call me names, be mean to me, blah, blah. So my mom was like, you know what? You always getting so upset at your sister when she acts like this. And I think she does it because she knows how you can respond. How about you just like ignore it?
He literally started just getting on his phone too. And then it would like get quiet and I'll be like,
yeah, I would get on my phone or like, I would like not pay attention to her, not paying attention. And then like, it went from me drastically like, oh, why are you always doing this? To me just like not paying attention to her at all. Like she's not in the room. Then I noticed that she put her phone down. She would pay me more attention and she'd be more active in the show, you know? So she changed that a lot. There's still some times when I'm like, babe, really? But
listen, what you just said is another testament to how like great parents you'll be, because adults and children are not very different in the way that we change our behavior. So you just like said a parenting technique, something your mom taught you to how to deal with your sister. You like used it in your relationship and you're going to use it again with your children.
Facts.
Do you feel like you're in the honeymoon stage?
I sure do. Do you?
Yeah. I'm like, everyone's like, how does being married feel? I'm like, a little bit more communication, a little less about everything. Like we kind of pick and choose our battles. So I feel like yes, I'll say yes.
I definitely feel that way. I mean, everything was great before. It's been amplified a lot more. And I want to, even now more than before, show her how much I appreciate. And we've had arguments, even more recent arguments, where before I would be like so upset and like, oh man, like how could she be like this? And then now I'm like turning it around, like, okay, we're like this, she feels this way. How can I like use this situation to make us closer? You know what I mean? Which is like making me so excited. It's like, oh wow, we can do this, we can do that, and that's gonna make it even better, you know? Like, and I love that.
So you take like the arguments and try to find a way to improve your marriage,
Exactly.
not win the argument, but use it as a lesson.
Exactly. That's what we've been doing, and I feel like it's been working. And I want to just continue doing it, and yeah.
Do you feel like, you know, I'm sure you've all heard it, the honeymoon stage doesn't last forever, and then once it's over, it's back to like, or even as a man, like, why'd you get married? You don't want to have sex anymore? Or, you know, there's a bunch of negative things that come along with marriage. Do you have any concerns about that? Or are you just like, no, my relationship is my relationship?
You asking me personally?
Yeah.
For me, I always felt that being married and being with somebody, there's so much to explore sexually, physically, mentally, you know? So I always saw getting married as an opportunity to really get deep down into that.
And improve all those things.
But not only that, just figure out the person inside out. And that was always my thing with Ashley. I felt like more of what intrigued me was her wall. You know, like she has so much up.
I still have.
I want to break it down. I want to see what's inside. I want to see what's behind. I want to see everything. You know, I want to get in there. That's beautiful. You know, and and that's what makes me excited. And I felt like, you know, being in marriage, she has opened even up more. You know, and I thought we were already open up, you know, 90% when we were not married. And then the engagement opened at maybe like 91.
Yeah.
But, you know, being married has opened up even more, and she's talking a lot more. She's being a lot more vocal, and even though she was very vocal. So I think, well, for one, you know, sex has been has been great. Sex has been great. It's been upgraded, you know, in a lot of sense. So, and just talking and just spending quality time and just thinking about ways to improve things have been upgraded as well. I feel like there's way more to discover in general with each of us together as you know, human beings in general. So I look forward to that.
Hold 100%. Up. I know you kind of glanced over this, but a big misconception is marriage ruins sex. You said it got better. Do you feel like it's intentionally better? Like you're like, I'm a wife, I'm a husband, so I'm going to be better? Or do you think it's the honeymoon phase? Or anything to say on that? Because that's something we try to break down a lot on this show.
What you think?
I think for me, it's been like, I'm a wife. Like we have different sex drives, but we like prioritize.
Did you hear last week's?
Yes, I did.
So which one are you?
Responsive or spontaneous?
I'm more responsive.
Okay.
I think Shomari is more spontaneous. But some like it's a lot to unpack. So thinking deeper, I've never really had sex to like for my pleasure, but that's something that I just kind of put together in therapy. So I never really, you know, enjoyed sex how I do now. It's very different. Before it was very like almost transactional. Not for my gain, but for, you know, the other person's gain.
Like it felt like it's something you do.
It felt like something that needed to happen for, you know, people to stay interested in me. I never, the other person never like took the time to really study my body or be like, do you feel this or do you feel that?
Or to make you want to have sex.
Right. Yeah. So something in therapy has been like, you know, if you're not talking about sex, like that's a problem. So it's gotten better because like, not that I feel I have more responsibility, but I want to please more. And I don't want that to be the deal breaker. Because I know sex is like...
So it's prioritized.
It's prioritized. It's something like men function better. I do too. But yeah.
For me, Ashley sharing, you know, that side of her life with me. I mean, when we spoke about her sexual relationship before, I mean, I understood, you know, when it's college and stuff like that. And, you know, when younger, you know, people don't really know what they're doing. I get it. But I never really put it together that, you know, never really having sex for enjoyment, which was like, I don't know why it was eye-opening for me. It should, you know, I feel like I should have understand it more, but the fact that she shared that with me, it made me understand where we were at, you know, where we are, you know, in general. But it's been better, you know, and my whole big thing is I never wanted her to feel pressured as a partner, you know. I don't want her to feel like she got to do this because I'm a man and she needs to please me. No. I always told her, like, it's not about that. It's about us together. It's about us pleasing each other, learning about each other, and just making each other feel good because we deserve that. You know, like it should be about, you know, just the enjoyment and the experience. You know, it's just it's exciting, it's fun. You know, and it feels good. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. And
absolutely.
I want to make you feel good, and you should want me to feel good as well. Like that's just how it should be. And yeah, that's how it's been so far, and we're gonna keep doing it. And yeah, right.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be the honeymoon stage. It could just be a new door y'all unlocked.
Exactly.
Forever.
For real.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Proud of y'all.
I want to say one thing, actually. I
ahead.
forgot. Last week's episode was interesting because what I was thinking in those situations where, you know, back in the past where, say for instance, you know, she's not in the mood and stuff like that. I've been thinking about sexual languages, and I know that love language, sorry, not sex languages.
There are sex languages too, though.
I meant love language. And I know what's important for Ashley, like you know, me doing planning things, you know, like, oh, let's go do this. Oh, get this outfit, you know. You know, the last time we had an argument, and it wasn't like a crazy argument, it was just something, and I was thinking, you know what? After the argument, I was thinking in my head, you know, I need to start doing, you know, spontaneous things outside of in the bedroom. So that way she's more turned on about doing certain things, you know? And that being married brought that out in me, you know? Because before I'd be like, this is crazy, she's whack. Like this is like, come on, like you got to get with it. Like I'm your husband, you know, not that you should have sex because I'm your husband, but I'm your husband, like I love you, like you love me too. Like what's the problem, you know? But now it's like,
why aren't you feeling what I feel?
Exactly. Now it's like, how can I bring that feeling out of her? You know, how can I make her want me?
Because she's responsive.
Exactly.
So you gotta find
how
a
do
way.
I bring out that response? You know, going out and planning dates. You know, maybe booking a flight for her to go somewhere to go see her friend, or maybe just, you know, buying a dress and then we plan a date.
I was gonna say that's so cute. I remember you doing that in the past, like. You picked the outfit for her to wear on a date. Like that shit is fire.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I take notes. I take notes. There's so many things that she said to me in the past. I'll get my phone out and I write it down. Like, we gotta do this. Ashley likes this. Literally, it's called Ashley Likes. You know, because it's like, you know, I want to make her feel inspired. Well,
that's
you know,
beautiful.
Feel happy about doing certain things. Not because I do those things, but because wow, she wants to, you know, treat me good because she feels good. You know, I guess.
Y'all always say though that sex initiation starts after you finish.
Yeah.
So it's this, like, I constantly think about that. Like, we finish, but then I'm like, okay,
how do we get back here?
Right. Like, and it's mental. So I be trying to tell him that, like, you know, it's just not all the time. Like, your quickie episode was perfect. And we have been having more quickies. But
see,
sometimes it's just no. Like, sometimes no.
Yeah.
It's not happening right
sometimes
now.
like no. Yep.
Something I was thinking about, speaking of love languages, traditional marriages where, like, my grandparents right now, they beautiful couple, 58 years in September. But my grandpa has been very spoiled. And now he's at a point where he really, like, doesn't. He's just like, my grandma has to be home 24/7. So we've been having this conversation with my grandma about her spoiling him. And she's like, you keep saying that I spoiled him, but it was just the life that we lived. So I've been trying to, you know, give her grace and think, what if they had the 5 love languages? Like, they weren't talking about that in the 60s. It was like, the man has to work. We have 4 kids. We have to put food on the table. And now it's like the kids are super grown. They have grandchildren. And it's like, why aren't we going out? Why don't we have friends? It doesn't matter the age, but you have to put in work. But
that's something we talk about. Like, and one of our videos that went viral, and we're like, fuck them kids. But is that at the end of the day, your kids are going to leave the nest and we still have to work on each other. So in prioritizing our relationship, we are happy, so our kids are happy. But then when they're gone, we still have each other and our connection. And not just like, we raise kids together and they're good, but now we have no connection. So like, maintaining this is top priority.
Yeah.
Because you don't just want to raise kids. Like, I hear that a lot from my mom friends or just mom, you know, like acquaintances that I have. And it's like, we've just been raising kids. So it's like, yeah, when are you having kids? soon, maybe, if God wants.
You feel like you're still working on building that.
But I'm not just gonna be here like, we want 4 kids. Let's have 4 kids. Because we're just here. We kind of lose ourselves, and we're just like school, food.
Like, can we do one at a time?
So it's like, you know.
For me, what I see it as, it's not about raising the kids, it's about raising the family. And the relationship goes into the family. The relationship with your kids goes in the family. All that goes in one. It shouldn't only be about, oh, the kids this, the kids that, kids this. You know, it's all about the relationship in general. And that family aspect is our communication and the kids' communication in general, all of that.
Yeah, I love that dynamic. Like, we need to be good before we could be good for our child.
Exactly.
Fuck them kids.
Yeah, fuck them kids.
Beat your kids now.
So this conversation has been not what I expected, but in a good way. Like, we've touched on things that I didn't think were going to come up. Any words of advice for newlyweds just to like close this conversation?
Watch this episode.
Definitely.
I think that nobody should get into marriage if they don't want to be married. Don't get it twisted. Like, I mean, obviously we got married because we wanted to. I mean, Ashley had her hesitations. And like I said, I felt the same way that, you know, marriage is complicated, you know, but I think you should do things at your own pace. There's a lot of pressure out there. Parents, family, girlfriends, guy friends, all that. Like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Forget all that. What about what you want? What about what is best for you and your partner? That's what's important. And I think that once you get past that, and once you really, really, truly know that, then you move on to the next thing.
How would your life have been different, or your relationship been different, if you did follow what everybody was telling you to do?
A lot of people tell me not to be with Ashley, no lie.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring that up because I don't know who going to watch, but...
And that's mostly because I was complaining.
We're still here.
I was just like, yo, Ashley not with it, blah, blah. Like, I had nobody else to tell. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like if, as your friend, if you were telling me things, I feel like the only response would have been without having any education on it myself, would have been like, you better leave this crazy.
For real, exactly.
She don't want to be with you.
As they should. Like, she gets mad about it, and, like, when we talk about it, but I think it made sense. Like,
and the people that loved you had good intent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's all it was. But I think we probably wouldn't have been together if I listened. But it didn't matter because I did listen, and I told her I didn't want to be with her anymore, and she still so she wouldn't let me go.
What about once you were together, once you were living together? What other pressures did you get from people?
It was like, honestly, I'm a very, like, if you don't pay my bills, I don't really care what you have to say.
I thought you were going to say, if Shomari doesn't pay the bills.
No. So,
outside opinion.
Again,
I get it.
Again, our older family members, it's like tradition. You get married, you go live together. No. We're doing things at our pace. If we don't get married, we don't get married. But right now, this is my marinovio. This is my roommate, my best friend. Mm-hmm. Nobody really, like, he was the first guy I brought home to my dad's side of the family. Like, my mom's pretty cool with she's met multiple people that I've dated in the past, but this was it. Like, I didn't really care what they had to say. We were living, like, in sin. Mm-hmm. But that was kind of what made us elope. It was like, well, y'all been living in sin for so long, you might as well get married.
It was more like, okay, we got to plan this marriage. I have a big-ass family. Ashley has a big family. Well, my family is huge, So it was like, man, we got to plan this. And I feel like for her, that's what she was like, damn, how do we do this? But then one day we was on, the phone, and my aunt was there, and she was like, y'all might as well get married. Might as well elope. And then she was like, oh, that's more of a reason to do it. And I was like, ding, ding, ding.
He didn't want to elope, so that was the cherry on top. I was like, well, you got your mom's consent, so we can go elope now.
I actually didn't have no problem eloping. I felt like she felt like, because I have a big family, that I had a problem with it. So that's what we did.
That took a lot of pressure off, because I feel like sometimes marriages end before the wedding because the wedding is so stressful.
Yeah, and it was stressful. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was stressful when I saw the whole aspect of, my family is this much. Ashley's family's kind of divided because of, her mom, stepfather, stuff like that. So I didn't really want to complicate that, and I didn't know how to shed more people off my list. And obviously it's the pandemic, we can't have that many people. It was very complicated. So, things worked out the way they should have. I'm not gonna lie. It worked out kind of perfectly. So it was good.
Probably be traveling if we didn't work out. Probably living in, like, El Salvador first.
Y'all talked about how much you've changed because of marriage. Have you noticed a change on how people treat you because now that you're married?
Yes, 100%.
Or strangers, people you call friends, family?
Yeah. I mean, sadly, I feel like a lot of people think that for some reason that I don't do anything without Ashley, like just because she's posting and I'm there, you know what I mean? But it's not true. And that's another reason why I don't be on social media as much, is because people think that if you're not on social media, you don't exist. And it's so annoying. It's like, I have a phone number. You know, my number has never changed. I'm my own person. Like, if you want to chill, you know, you just hit me up. And I hit up people randomly, like, oh, what's up? Like, how you doing? Hope all things as well. But just because you don't see that I'm going this place, and I'm not posting it, you think that, oh yeah, I'm only doing things with my girl. Like,
you're still living your life.
I live my life as well. So I feel like people less likely to invite or less likely to say something because they think that, oh yeah, I'm a married man now and I don't like to have fun. Like, it's not like that, but it's whatever. But Steph asked another thing. I think communication is big in relationship. Talking about once you're newlywed, just in general, you know, obviously communication is big, but
ask a lot of questions. Don't be hesitant to like share your light. I'm still like in my head about some things about how I am, and I'm like, oh wow, like he puts up with that. But whoever's gonna love you is gonna love you. So ask a lot of questions. Be yourself.
Asking questions is important because we make a lot of assumptions sometimes. So just asking questions could get you the answer you need, so you don't make a story up in your head.
That goes for every aspect of your relationship, even your sex life.
Yeah, for real. Do you feel like people? Sorry.
There you go.
No.
I was like, do you feel like people have been treating you differently since we got married?
I just feel like people are like, whoa, wait, you're married? That's really it.
Because you're so beautiful, they can't believe it.
I'm just like,
cheesy,
yeah.
okay.
And then I feel like they kind of try to, like, guess, like, wow, like, is it a man? Was it a girl? Like, are they black? That kind of stuff. But I don't really feel any difference.
Okay.
You're right. Well, we always end our episodes with our guests and we ask a very important question.
Do you still like us?
Like y'all?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, clearly Shomari does not listen to the show. Yes,
I've
do
seen
you
a
still
few.
like
And I prepped him a few times, but you know, he
I thought he was
doesn't
going to
listen.
answer, we still love each other. You know?
Well,
That's
it
very
ain't about
evident.
y'all. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
They got that part.
Yes,
Yeah,
we like
So
y'all.
we still like you.
Yes, we still like y'all.
Thank
Thank you for being our guest on our 1 year anniversary episode.
Anniversary. We're going to have another shot.
Yes.
And then we're going to
Yes.
get dinner.
Yes.
Yes.
It's going
And
to
if
be
y'all
lit.
didn't understand, technically we're together because Stephanie did Envy, obviously, and we got together.
We
because of
didn't
that.
even touch on that.
Oh,
That's a big point.
Yes. So I'm the friend that took Stephanie to that party where she met Travis.
Yes, so we've told our story. Said we had a
Yes.
mutual friend.
That was me.
Ashley.
I took their first picture.
Yes.
But Stephanie was my college best friend. She is my college best friend. She was president of Envied and he was model coordinator.
And
so.
she was the secretary.
Yeah.
So I kind of had a part in helping them get together.
And she had a part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Getting
He used to
us
bring me around
together.
all the time. He used to be like, oh, you know, what you doing? Let's go do this, let's do that. Bring Ashley, blah, blah.
And not for nothing, because Ashley was one of my best friends, my best friend in college. She was 2 years younger than me. I was always like a little bit of her big sister mom figure. So I would like love you and be like, I wish she would kind of like this nice guy over like these fuck boys. So I was always kind of rooting for you.
I appreciate that.
I was too though.
Yeah.
We know, babe. We know.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.